Think again, because everything you believe you know about Chrissy and Jim Jones is about to be completely upended. What if I told you that the worst betrayal wasn't from Jim's enemies, but rather from Chrissy, the person he trusted the most? This isn't a minor secret. The bombshells that Cameron's family has just released reveal a truth so twisted that it's difficult to believe. Chrissy's life is about to be exposed in a way that no one saw coming, and Jim is left standing, alone, betrayed, and caught off guard. It's going to be a full-on expose of everything you didn't know and couldn't have imagined. Stay tuned, because if you think you've heard the worst, trust me, you're in for a surprise. What do you do when the person you love is keeping the darkest secrets you could never fathom? What if I told you that everything you believed you knew about Chrissy Lampkin was false? What if the ideal relationship you've seen on TV for more than 10 years was actually a web of lies? What if Jim Jones, the man who has trusted her, was the one being lied to? Hold on, because this isn't just rumors. It's a truth bomb that could destroy all he has worked so hard to build. Let's break it down. Cameron, who has supported Jim throughout his career's highs and lows, dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming. Jim isn't the only person involved in this. Chrissy Lampkin is at the center of a scandal that could ruin Jim's career and reveal the awful truth no one knew existed. You've seen the glitzy photos, the public appearances, and the moments of the it couple's success. But behind the scenes, there's a different story, one about secrets so profound and sinister that they have the potential to bring down the entire house of cards. Consider this. Chrissy, Jim's longtime companion, has been living a double life. Now that the truth has come to light, Jim must pick up the pieces. Cameron's family has just pulled back the curtain and revealed the truth about Chrissy's hidden life for years. This isn't just reality TV. How did we get here? Although she has been portraying herself as Jim's rock, Cameron's family has disclosed that Chrissy has engaged in dubious activities, covert affairs, and even commercial ventures that damaged Jim's confidence. As they say, you can only conceal things for so long. Chrissy's life isn't just a reality show. It's a web of falsehoods so interwoven that it's impossible to ignore. Jim is the man left in the wreckage, blindsided by the betrayal of someone he believed he could trust. The truth has been hidden for so long, but it's finally coming to light in the most spectacular way conceivable. Trust above all else, but let's discuss how far this goes. The secrets Chrissy is keeping aren't just about adultery or infidelity. They involve much more: business corruption, dubious transactions, and behind-the-scenes maneuvers meticulously concealed from Jim for years. Now that everything has been revealed, the world is watching as Jim's life falls apart in real time. Let's start by discussing the first of many secrets: betrayal, money, and power. For years, Jim trusted Chrissy with both his business and his emotions. They collaborated on numerous projects and even established an empire. But behind the scenes, Chrissy has been conducting her own clandestine business and using her position to influence events to her advantage. According to people familiar with the matter, Chrissy has been involved in a number of dubious financial transactions that Jim was unaware of, which resulted in losses and poor investments for which Jim is now held accountable because Chrissy kept him in the dark. Jim was blindly trusting her. And let's not forget, we're talking about secret relationships, trips, and connections with people Jim wouldn't even imagine. People who could destroy him if they ever got the chance. For a while, all of Cameron's family members were aware of the situation, but chose to remain silent out of loyalty to Jim. However, now that the truth has come to light, they will no longer remain silent. The guy who helped launch Jim's career has had enough, and the world is aware of Chrissy's dubious activities and treachery. But this is about loyalty and trust. Two things Jim believed he had with Chrissy. Now he's left to pick up the pieces of a career that is about to fall apart, and he must confront the fact that everything he believed was true has crumbled. Why is Cameron doing this and exposing Chrissy now, after all these years? Is it because of their personal history together? Or is it because Cameron has finally had enough of the games Chrissy has been playing that have caused Jim more pain? Cameron believed his knowledge of Chrissy was based on lies. The problem is that Cameron is tired of the lying and won't allow Chrissy to get away with it any longer. He's resorted to social media and the streets, disclosing all the information about Chrissy's secrets, which are now public knowledge and cannot be undone. As for Jim, he has been kept in the dark while Chrissy has been playing a risky game. But how far did this betrayal go? Was it merely business? Or is there more to the story? Is Chrissy concealing even darker secrets that Jim was unaware of? Stay put, because the truth is about to destroy everything and we're only just beginning. The truth hurts, doesn't it? It always does when everything you believe to be safe and secure falls apart in front of your eyes. And Jim Jones is currently experiencing this because Chrissy Lampkin, the person he trusted and believed to be trustworthy, betrayed him deeply. The fallout from these revelations is worse than anyone could have predicted. Jim Jones, the hip-hop mogul, is set to lose everything he has worked so hard to build, including his reputation, his career, and the very empire he has invested in. His rock is coming to light in the most publicly humiliating way imaginable. But that's only the beginning of the real mess. Years have passed, and it's all due to one person, Chrissy. The twist is that Chrissy isn't only acting in her own best interests. Cameron's family has been subtly revealing how profound this betrayal is. It goes far beyond simple financial losses and covert affairs. Chrissy was part of an entire underground scheme. Cameron, Jim's closest buddy, never really trusted Chrissy. For years, his suspicions persisted, but Jim was unaware of them. Nevertheless, it's only now that the world is beginning to connect the dots. Let's break it down again. Chrissy wasn't just pulling strings behind Jim's back, she was playing both sides. And let's be honest, everyone was enamored with the notion that he and Chrissy were the ideal power couple. However, now that everything is coming apart piece by piece, this is where things get sticky. Chrissy's falsehoods went beyond her financial scams. They're being exposed, and they're more extensive than anyone could have predicted. Cameron's family has revealed shocking information regarding dubious business practices that shattered Jim's confidence to an almost unfathomable degree. Chrissy was serving as the gatekeeper, preventing Jim from being informed about financial decisions that ought to have been discussed. Now Jim is dealing with the fallout from her covert manipulations. For those who are unaware, Chrissy was the driving force behind a few dubious investments that Jim was unaware were being made in his name. Sources close to the matter claim that Jim trusted Chrissy with everything, and she took advantage of it. Even worse, Chrissy was supposed to be Jim's faithful partner. But when the bills came due, Jim was left holding the bag due to shady real estate transactions or businesses that embezzled money. Think about it. Chrissy has been involved in backdoor deals with people who have always had it out for Jim. Her actions have endangered Jim's empire. This isn't just business, it's personal. Now, Jim is experiencing the consequences of her actions. As the story goes viral, fans and other celebrities are weighing in, and the reactions are all over the place. Some are calling Chrissy a mastermind, while others are outright labeling her a villain. Despite this, the damage has already been done, and the public backlash is just getting started. The alarming thing is that Jim's own circle is beginning to turn away from him because they don't know where his allegiances lie following this shocking disclosure. This is where it truly starts to hurt, since Jim has been betrayed not only personally but also publicly. Everyone began talking after the news leaked, and as you know, once the truth is out, there's no going back. Jim must now confront his own public failure while attempting to determine whether Chrissy was behind the scenes pulling all the strings for Cameron. According to insiders, Cameron had been warning Jim for years that something was wrong with Chrissy. But Jim feels personally accountable for not seeing this coming sooner. Cameron is now unable to contain himself. It's one thing to see a friend in trouble, but when that situation puts everything you've worked for in jeopardy, you have no choice but to speak up. Jim is facing legal issues. He might be held liable for some of those obligations and could face the very real prospect of litigation or even government investigations into the shady deals Chrissy was involved in if it turns out that she deceived him by using his name and assets to make fraudulent investments. Given the current situation, Jim is in danger of going bankrupt, but the public backlash is equally severe. Fans who once looked up to Jim and Chrissy are now doubting their allegiance. How could they have been so gullible as to think it was a genuine love story when it was really just a game for Chrissy? The backlash has been rapid. Jim's fan base is beginning to turn against him. His reputation has been damaged, and now the public is asking the difficult question of who Jim was actually working with all these years. It was a love tale when it was really just a game for Chrissy. Cameron's family has even gone so far as to make recordings of some of the most startling disclosures regarding Chrissy's double life public. These leaked tapes are more shocking than anyone could have ever imagined, involving dubious individuals who initially intended to destroy him. These tapes are nothing short of explosive, and they have only served to increase public indignation. Let's not even discuss the current social media conflagration, in which everyone is contributing, from social media influencers to hip-hop artists. Fans are going crazy about the scenario because Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin are trending for all the wrong reasons. One tweet says, "Jim, you've been played, and we all saw it coming." Another writes, "Chrissy has been nothing but..." But there's a darker side to all of this. People are now wondering, how much of Jim's career was built on lies? Was it really all Chrissy's influence? Did she help shape Jim's success? Or was she holding him back? Manipulative. Jim deserves better. It's impossible to predict how far this catastrophe could go, but one thing is for sure: Jim Jones is now at a crossroads. The rumors have been going on forever, and every new leak makes the truth more convoluted. Legal action, financial instability, and public fury are just the beginning. Jim Jones must now deal not just with a betrayal of his heart, but with the total collapse of his empire. Now that we know how much Chrissy Lampkin has betrayed him, the issue is, what will happen next? As the story progresses, Jim Jones must fight for his love, his empire, his image, and possibly even his freedom. The entire scope of Chrissy's manipulations is emerging, and what appeared to be a fairy tale romance has now devolved into a nightmare that nobody anticipated. The media and public backlash are spreading like wildfire. The circus surrounding Jim and Chrissy is getting more intense every day. As the inquiry goes on, it's not just about Jim's profession anymore. It's about friendships falling apart, trust being broken, and everything Jim has worked so hard to establish possibly being destroyed. Cameron's family has decided to reveal more and more of Chrissy's sinister secrets, and the results are astounding. Leaked documents and private recordings have emerged, demonstrating that Chrissy's role in Jim's financial crisis wasn't an accident. This was intentional, a carefully planned scheme to destroy Jim's career and seize his wealth. But why did Chrissy stand to gain? Let's examine it from the perspective of those with knowledge of the matter. Chrissy wasn't only interested in money, she was playing a long game. She planned several business endeavors and investments, each intended to drain a portion of Jim's fortune while keeping him in the dark about the ultimate goal. She wanted to ensure that she had a firm grip on his future, that she was the one in charge, not Jim. But here's the twist. As more of Chrissy's dubious activities surface, it becomes clear that she was aligned with people Jim had trusted, people who were taking advantage of him. It's one of the most startling revelations to ever hit the public. An anonymous source recently revealed that Chrissy had been in continuous communication with Jim's competitors, using Jim's name to make backroom deals that ultimately harmed him. This goes far beyond a simple betrayal. It increasingly appears to be a concerted attempt to permanently destroy Jim Jones. The public is now waiting for the consequences. As Jim faces increasing legal pressure and both sides' legal teams prepare for an impending court battle, it appears this might be the battle of Jim's life. He could face severe fines or even criminal charges if Chrissy is found guilty of financial manipulation. This is not just a career killer, it's the kind of scandal that can ruin lives. And let's not forget the media frenzy, with headlines everywhere and people watching from all over the world. Every turn that Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin, and Cameron exposing Chrissy takes is making global headlines, with both supporters and detractors taking sides. Some are rooting for Jim and calling for justice, while others are attacking him and wondering how someone as strong and significant as Jim could have been so easily tricked. But now, the questions are about Chrissy and what she will do next. Specifics hold the key to understanding Chrissy's behavior, and it's becoming increasingly obvious that her objectives were far more complicated than anyone could have predicted. Numerous sources have come forward to expose that Chrissy was connected to dubious figures from the underworld, in addition to being involved in financial schemes. The worst part? Jim was unaware of who Chrissy was actually aligning with. While Chrissy was carefully curating his image. She was covertly making moves behind the scenes. Jim's one stable business is now on the verge of collapse after dealing with those who were using him as a pawn in a much bigger game. Industry experts are cautioning that the damage could be irreparable due to financial mismanagement and potential legal issues. The consequences are massive. Jim's future is uncertain, but the greatest tragedy of all is that Jim Jones trusted Chrissy with his heart, his business, and his future, and she deceived him at the most inconvenient time. As Jim's burden grows, his mental health has suffered. He has spent days in seclusion, meeting with his legal team, and attempting to reconstruct what remains of his career. However, no matter how hard he tries to mend things, the damage is deep, and the cracks are wide. Jim has always been a fighter, but even the most resilient fighters have moments when they question whether they can prevail. Could this mark the end of Jim Jones as we know him? As for Chrissy, she has been keeping quiet and is reportedly attempting to distance herself. But the truth about her behavior will eventually surface. No matter how hard she tries to hide it, her reputation will be in ruins. The public is aware of what has happened. The walls are closing in on Chrissy, and the truth is becoming unavoidable. But does she care? Is she even concerned about the harm she has caused? Only time will tell. Cameron's family, who have played a crucial role in bringing attention to Chrissy's wrongdoings, is now demanding a complete investigation. As the legal battle continues, we can anticipate more startling revelations to come to light. Who knows what the future holds for Jim Jones and Chrissy? The investigation into everything Chrissy has been involved in is demanding that Jim receive his just compensation, and they won't stop until every detail is revealed. The story isn't finished yet, but one thing is certain: this tale will go down in history. Will Jim rise from the ashes, or will Chrissy's web of deceit and manipulation destroy him forever? Wow, what a roller coaster this has been. The plot. Twists and turns in this story are completely out of control. But the real question is, will Jim Jones be able to put his life and career back together, or will Chrissy Lampkin's web of deceit and treachery bring him to ruin forever? The truth is out there, but the path ahead is anything but straightforward. I'd like to hear your opinions. Do you believe Jim has what it takes to control the mayhem, or is this the end of his reign? Is Chrissy really guilty, or is she just part of a larger scheme? Let's start the discussion by exchanging comments below. If you're on Jim's or Chrissy's side, please share your thoughts in the comments section. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the most recent updates we've been posting. The more we delve into this story, the more questions